Let's assume that your manager is he has given you two requirements. The one is find out the sales percentage for every category, and then the second use case is find the sales percentage based on the visible total for the last 5 years of data available. You can use a slicer to filter two categories. All of you are familiar with this term slicer at least, right? First, let us solve the use case one. Here the use case one is find the sales percentage for every category. Okay, what I do is I just okay, before I sorry, let me take a digression here. See, yesterday there is a open item for me here, right? So yesterday I told you AGGX. Okay, I would suggest you all, right, make sure that you are all taking the backup of your files, right? It is crashing in this one, the Power BI. Whatever I do it locally, right? Best thing you can publish it to cloud instead of having it here. Okay, so and also better you take a backup on this one. We have discussed about string functions, aggregations, related and related table, not this one. Three. See, whatever I discussed yesterday, it has gone. See, yesterday, yeah, it is there. Yeah, it is there here. It's not gone. But a few files have gone in my case. Though I was able to open this one, I could not see the content here. Okay, whatever the recent content I made. And I made sure that I saved those files, but still, the OS level, you take a copy. Okay, maybe I don't know what is happening. Look here, this is where we got stuck up, right? So the average x, when I discussed about average x, why we are getting this one, right? So in that case, what we did, the mistake was, right? Okay, I'll just open the Excel file. Let me see if you can figure it out. AXO and what is the file? Sales by customer. Yeah. Look here. So in this case, what happened? Baron 10, 12, 30, 22 plus 12, 34. 34 divided by 3 is 11.33. Okay, even in the case of average A also, yeah, this is the one, average A and average A and average, plain average, right? With average A, it was matching with this value. But when I check this one, right, what we did, the mistake, right? So why are we getting this one? Can someone tell me what is the, so here we have 34 units sale in sales, right? So what I did that day, I blindly multiplied this one with this one. See, this is also an aggregation, right? Sorry, it is a aggregation. Units sold was the aggregation sum 34 and sales was 18714, but this sales was not 18714, right? So this is 108012. Yeah, 101. So sorry, this is the one. Baron was 84872 10232. See, 10232 into 10. So here average x. Let me just select this visual. When you select this visual, you will get to know what all the tables and the associated measures that you used it. Average x, when you see here, average x, here it is a row context, right? Row by row we are multiplying it. Simply what we did, we multiplied this one and then we check this one, it is wrong actually. Okay, so when you do row by row, what will happen is 10 into 10232, so 102320, and 12 into 84, so 101804. If you select these two, you will get 204104, right? 204104, and one more is Baron is this one, right? 102320, and sorry, and here the sum is 204, but average, you look at the average here. I was looking at the sum that day. I got confused with that. So average was 102052. Okay, it is correctly doing it. But here it is doing the row by row option, 10 into 20232 and 12 into 8482. So here what we did, simply, we summed all this value. The Baron was 34, right? So 12 plus 12, 24, plus 10, 34, and then we simply added this. So 34 into this value, we did it, right? So the sum of this one, we are not supposed to do that one, because we have used the expression units sold into sales in the average X, right? In that case, it is doing the row by row multiplication, right? So the 10 into 232 is this one, and this one into this one, and when you take the average, but here we have a null value. Please remember, in average, null and blank value it will not consider. Okay, if you have a 0, it will consider. Null and blank value it will not consider. And in this case, since it does the row by row operation, we need to manually test it this way. Now you understood how important the testing the data, right? Most of the time we get stuck up with the data. When you test the data, right, you will break your head. Sometimes these kind of confusions will happen. So they say, so blindly they will confuse you. Stakeholders, 34 into 874, I'm getting something else, but when I divide by the 2, something else is coming up, right? And you will get confused. You need to justify that. But if you know what formula that you have used it here, then you need to check the data manually, and then you need to conclude why we are getting this one. So you need to prove that whatever you say is correct, okay, with the facts. So these are the facts, right? You can tell them it's a row by row, it is multiplying. You are not supposed to multiply these two. That's what the mistake we did. Fine, hope you are able to understand, right? Average X. So with this example, I think you should be able to understand. If you are still not clear, please watch my video. And those of you joined little late, please watch my video, because we are running short of time. Many things have to be covered. So now let's get back to this use case. There are two use cases. One is you need to find out the sales percentage for every category. So what I'm going to do is, in the interest of time, I'm going to use the simple data file. Let me do recent sources, sales W04. So we need to find out the percentage of category. So we have a category here. One second, I just load it. So let's expand this, and it got loaded at last, and I'm going to select a table here. I'll just keep this one here, and we have a category here. So I can see a category here. So I'm going to drag and drop the quantity. Units sold. Let's use some units sold column. Where is the quantity? It is there here. Yeah, units sold. Okay, I'm getting these values. Okay, I just simply copy paste this one here one more time. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to find out the sales percentage for each category. For each category, we need to find out the sales percentage out of the total quantity. So if you add all these things, you will get this one, right? By default, Power BI does the row and column filtering. For this furniture category, the grouped value, summed values 28135, summed sales quantity. Okay, and for this office supplies row, the summed quantity is this one. Okay, but if you use the card, it will give you the measure directly, right? So by default, quantity, right? This is the implicit measure. You know what is implicit measure and explicit measure. 1040k, right? Somewhat it is rounding it off. Okay, this value 103, actually it is 103743. Okay, and it is rounding off. Okay, anyhow, let's not worry about it. So now we need to find out the percentage of each category, percentage of units sold of each category out of this total category. How do you find out the percentage of each category? So you need to divide this one by this one. You need to divide this one by this one. You need to divide this one by this one. So with that, we can find out which category contributes more to the revenue, right? You just think that way. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a measure, okay, a new measure. So I'm going to, one second, I'll just go here and create a new measure. Or you can go to menu also, you can do that, but this is a simple way of doing it. So I'm going to say all orders I'm going to use calculate. Okay, before that, what I will do is, let me do one thing. I'll create the another measure. Sorry, I should have created here itself. Or total number of quantity. I say total orders, we just think that way. Okay, sum of quantity, total number of quantity is fine, done. Next one is I'm going to create a new measure. This is what I discussed in my last session. So what is this all orders? So what is this all? It disregarding the filters, right? Row column filters. It disregards the row column filters. Sorry, not this one. Where is the all orders? Here I have used calculate function. Inside the calculate function, I have used the total orders W4, which is nothing but this one 103730, comma, apply all sales. So I wanted to calculate the total quantity by disregarding all the category. Okay, all the categories. Okay, so what happens here is this total value is displayed repeatedly here. It repeated many times here. Okay, so now if you want to find out column wise the total percentage, right? If column wise, if you want to find out the percentage of sold quantity, percentage of the quantity. It will be very easier, right? If you have the total value here, 28135 divided by this one, that one will give you the percentage of quantity sold in this category, right? Similarly, for office supplies and technology, since we have this total value available in row wise, we can easily compute that. But not like, unlike Excel, we cannot simply for each and every value you cannot divide this in a straightforward way. So we will have to use a filter. So we have to use a function called all in order to disregard all the row column filter. See what happens here is, what do you mean by row column filter? For example, here the quantity is 103730, right? One second, this is total orders. So not, it is rounding it off. One second, I'll have to display units, not auto, thousands. Still it will show. See, this is nothing but 103730. It is rounded off here. Okay, so 103730. But when you simply drag and drop this inside a card, it shows 103730, right? But when you drag and drop this along with the category or any variable, right, categorical variable, so what will happen is the row and column filter is applied on this one. So the row is furniture and quantity, right? So for this row, what is the corresponding? It will apply the filter on this one, which means for this category furniture, what is the total sales? Similarly, for this row office supplies, what is the corresponding, right? It will automatically filter this one. Okay, but if you put it alone here, it will give you the total value 103730. But when you use a Hall filter, if you don't use Hall filter, how can you bring 103730 here, right? What we are doing is we are using All filter. So since we are applying the All filter on the this table, right, the sales W04, right, on that, especially on the category column we are doing, right? So disregard all the filters on the category, whatever the category that you have, right, row column filter, you disregard it. That is what all says. Okay, even if I use external filter, for example slicer, I'm going to use a slicer here. In this slicer, I'm going to copy and paste the category here. For example, if I select furniture and technology, so for this selected category in my filter, the corresponding values are filtered here, but the all orders, right, it still remains as it is, because we have disabled the row column filter on category column, right? So that's the reason why it is not the values are not changing here, right? The total value is not getting changed here. Okay, but here it changes, but here it is not changing it. Okay, what is the next step? Next step is we need to find out the percentage. So we need to row wise percentage we need to find out. I'm going to create another measure. And say order percentage all. Calculate. So what I am going to do is I am going to divide this value by that value. Okay, calculate the total. Okay, and here I am going to use a simple function called divide. So divide 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 each and every value by the overall value, right? So for this, comma, all orders, see all orders, right? So divide each and every categories. For example, I just select this one also. Okay, let me deselect this one. Order percentage all. Okay, so we are done with this. So here what we are doing is, we are this measure, right? We are dividing this by this value, because when you drag and drop this along with this category column, it applies a row and column filter, right? But to overcome that, we have already written a measure all orders. In that, we have applied the all function using calculate on the category column. Since we applied all function on the category, it simply disregards the filters, internal filters, which is nothing, row column filter, and external filters also. So now we are done with this. Okay, I'm going to just drag and drop this one here, and let's see what happens. Yeah, 0.27 and yeah, 0.27 and 0.44. What I do is, instead of this, right, I just select this one, I just go and format it in percentage. You can do formatting also, so that it will show in terms of percentage. Instead of showing 0.27, right, 27.12 percentage. Okay, very good. So far so good. We are able to find out the percentage of units sold by category successfully by using the all function. By applying the all function on the category column, we are telling Power BI, hey, disregard row column filter. That is the default behavior, right? So now I am going to use this slicer. With this slicer, I am going to select specific category. So as per this measure, we already specified here, we mentioned it very clearly. Even if you apply any filter, whether it's a row column filter or external filter like slicer, don't don't apply on this one. Okay, so still it shows 103730, right? So with the external filter and row column filter, it is not getting changed. It remains as it is. That is what I am trying to say. So now I am going to clear the filter. So we have something else called, one second, we have something else called remove filter. So all function, all except, and apart from this we have something else called remove filter. Remove filter, all function, both of them are same only. It behaves the same way. Okay, that's it. So this I'm done with this one. Just click this one, apply this one. I'm going to open the same thing here. So I just copy paste it to new measure. So here, remove percent all. Each and every rows total quantity, I need to divide that by this one, remove filters, right? So I'll be applying this one here. So I just drag and drop this one here. Look here. So here, okay, I just convert this as a percentage. You can format it so that it will be nice. Look here. If you look at the order percentage all, because we applied all function using calculate function to disregard the filters, including row, column and external filter. Here we have used another function called remove filter. Remove filter also same as your all function. Look here, if I select this one, right, this one remains same, the percentage total. Or if you want to check this, you can just copy and paste the remove filter, right? So you can copy and paste this one also here. You see here, see this one, the overall total is not getting changed because it is disregarding internal and external filter. Good. So far so good. We are able to understand, right? Fine. So next one is we have something called all selected. Okay, we will create another measure and understand how does all selected is working. Instead of going through the theory or definition, all selected orders, calculate total orders, comma, instead of all, here we are going to select all selected, and here I am going to say category, right? So here what I am saying is apply all selected on category. Earlier we used all function. With all function we indicated, all function indicates don't apply any filter on category column, right? Ignore all the filters on the category column. That is what it says implicitly. Okay, so now I'm done with this one. All selected orders, I just drag and drop this one here. See here also the same thing, right? Not much difference, correct? Now you must be wondering, then what is the difference between these two? Okay, wait, what we will do is we will find out the order percentage. I'm going to create another measure. So now we need to divide in order to find out the percentage, right, for each category. So total orders, comma, all selected. We have applied this function in order to find out all selected here. Sorry, here we don't have to, already applied it, right? So what I want, all selected rows. Yeah, this is the one. I thought was all selected, or I want to select this one. I'm done with this. Now both of them look similar, right? So 28135 and all orders, right? This total value repeated here. Even when I used all selected function, the total value repeated here. Even when I found the percentage of each category's quantity sold over the total number of quantities, I'm getting somewhat similar to this one. Then what is the difference between all selected and this one? Now let us apply the external filter and see what happens. See what happens here. Here the category, whatever the external filter I applied, right, the furniture and technology, only those two category got selected in both the left hand side and right hand side table. But here the all selected, when you see the all, right, the total is 56.30, whereas all odd is 103730. But here only for these two category, whatever the quantity is there, right, only these two values got summed. And what it does is it divides each value divided by this total value, selected value. Okay, for furniture we have 28135 divided by 58399. So that is the one we are getting. Whatever the right, so whatever the one we selected here, right? So in this case, what happened? We have used a slicer to filter two categories, right? So what happens is the sales percentage was obtained based on the visual total. So here we are able to find out only these two rows visual, right? So here it computed the total for these visual only, right? So this is what is repeating here. Instead of repeating the total overall orders, right, overall the total units sold, instead of that, whatever the item selected, only for that it computes this total. For these two category only it computed the total. Instead of displaying three categories total, right, so it computed this one. This is the one it's repeating here. Since this is available here, so this one divided by this one, 48 points. So now it's very interesting insight, right? Now you understood so how the all selected works. With this example, it is pretty straightforward, right? All selected, what it does, it simply removes all the, one second, it removes context filters from rows and columns in the current query, but retaining all other context filters or explicit filters. So in this case, the explicit filter was this one, right? So in the explicit filter, it retains the explicit filter. Okay. So what happens here? Because of which this table got filtered with the two categories total value, right? Only two categories quantity sold summed up, and this one with this we are going to do this one. So this total and this total is different, right? Different. So this is what the difference between all and all selected. And we have all except. All except is also, in the case of all except, what happens is it is somewhat similar to this. Okay, apply disregard all the filters, as the name suggests, all except, right? Remove all filters from a table except from some columns. Okay, except for some columns. I will share this one to you all. Try using all except function instead of all selected, and you tell me how all except behaves, right? You simply take the existing measures, copy paste it with the with some meaningful name, all except, orders all except, and percentage all except, and then instead of all selected, you replace that with all except. But in the case of all except, the first argument is supposed to be table name. So in that case, our table name is sales underscore W04, comma, sales W04. You specify the category. That means ignore all the filters except category. That means apply filter on the category column. Row and column filter will be applied there. Okay, just you give it a try. Okay, so this is also will be helpful in some cases. Okay, so now you understood what is all and all selected and all except, right? So this is the way for the visuals. Whatever the filters externally we applied, for that the corresponding totals will be obtained using all selected, whereas in the case of all, it simply disregards internal and external filters. In the case of all except, it removes all filters except the column which you specified. That is the difference between these three. And also the remove filter, I did not mention it. Remove filter also similar to your all. Okay, more or less similar to your all. So next we will jump into time intelligence function. So what is time intelligence function? Time intelligence function is one of the important topics in DAX. So why do we need to use time intelligence function? So what are the functions that are available in DAX in order to perform time based analysis? Okay, so time intelligence is a critical business intelligence methodology in which, right, the analysts attempt to determine or they can evaluate the progress or performance of KPIs over a set period of time. It can be weeks, months, quarters, right? For example, your manager, sales VP, right, is asking you, so how are we doing when it comes to sales compared to the previous year, right? So this question answers if sales have increased or decreased in the previous year. That is what he's expecting from us. He wants to know basically whether the sale has been increased or decreased. If sales have declined from the previous year, right, so we may need to investigate the reasons behind the decline in the sales, right? Now in today's session we will look at what is automatic date tables and how to use them, and also we'll go over how to create the calendar tables, right? Using calendar method, how we can create a custom calendar table. Okay, and also we will learn the date formatting, and then we will go through the several time intelligence functions. Okay, and also we will see the various functions like total, YTD, everything. Okay, first of all, let us understand what are the date table requirements. What are the date table requirements? Because you need, if you create any custom date table, you need to follow these requirements, or you need to meet these requirements, or you need to follow these thumb rules. Now the question is, do I have to create a custom table? I discussed this in the past session. You don't have to create a custom table. Power BI, it creates automatic date table. The problem with that is, let's say in your table, fact table, you have 3 or 4 or 5 date columns are there. In that case, for each date column, it will create the date table behind the scene. We don't want that to create multiple date table. It will blow up my data model size. I'll be having many tables unnecessarily, especially if you have more dimension tables and you have more than one fact table, right? That itself a overkill, and each fact table and dimension table volume itself too high. On top, if you add or if you allow the Power BI to create automatic date table, it will consume more space. So it is a best practice, better you can create a custom table. In order to build a custom table, you need to follow these steps. You need to make sure that, right, it contains all the days for all years presented in your fact tables. In my fact table, let's say, I have a order date column, shipped date and all is there. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that all the days for all years present in my so my calendar table or the date table should consist of all the days for all years represented in our fact tables. What does this say? Supposing in my fact table, last 4 years data is there, okay, and the minimum date is we started the business 4 years back. This is January, sometimes January 2019 or so. So 2018 Jan we started. Let's say 1st January 2018 we started the business. So as of today it is 2021. Okay, so there is no need, or there is no there is no chance that each and every day I would have generated orders, right? My application would have generated orders, right? So it would not have stored orders from 1st January 2018 to till date. In between some gaps will be there. Probably 1st January some sale would have happened, and 5th January some sales would have happened, and some gaps will be there. There should not be any gap. Okay, So the date table must contain all the days for all years. Just because you don't have sales on January 2nd, 10th or 15th, right? That doesn't mean your date table should also have the same dates. No, your date table should have stored the dates sequentially, starting from 1st January to till date, right? You need to have that in your date table. Otherwise, you cannot perform the time intelligence or year to date sales analysis, month to date, year on year growth. You cannot do it. This is mandatory. This is one of the prerequisites. Must have at least one field set as date or date time data type. This is important. And the next one is it should not have duplicate dates or date time values. Okay, it should have unique values. It should not have duplicate dates, right? And should be marked as a date table, but it is optional. Okay, but it's a best practice. Once you create the table, you set it as a date table. I showed you how to set it as a date table in the past session, and also this whatever the date table that you created, it should not have a missing values. Okay, it should not have a missing values in it. Next, the question is why do I need to have a date table? Why do I need to have a date table? Custom date table. So why do I need to have this one? For example, this is my year to date. Let's say if somebody is asking you to perform year to date sales, right? I wanted to know the year to date sales. Can you please tell me? So how do you say the year? I did not specify the year to date, right? Okay. Or let's say year to date, right? What do you mean by year to date? What do you mean by year to date? Let's say I want to know the year to date sales, right? It is an aggregation value from the beginning of the year to the specified date. So year to date of this calendar year. There are two types of year, right? So one is calendar year, other one is fiscal year. What is the difference between fiscal year and calendar year? Fiscal year is also called as a financial year. Calendar is nothing but January 1st to 31st December. That is what your calendar year. The financial year varies from country to country, right? So varies from country to country. In India, let's the financial year starts from 1st April and ends on 31st March of next year. Okay, for 2021, the financial year started from 1st April and then it will end on 31st March 2022. Right? This period in which the income, whatever the income is earned, is known as the financial year or fiscal year. Right? So, if a fiscal year begins on 1st April, then year to date is referred to from then until the current date. Right? From then to until current date. Okay. So, that is what year to date. And okay, total year to date, and take another example for month to date. Okay, first of all, why do I need to have a date table? For example, in the case of date table, right? In the year to date, let's say you have okay, with this example I'll help you out. Okay, this is month to date. If somebody is asking you, instead of asking year to date, month to date they are asking. So you have the data for, let's 13th January, the year to date orders was this one, and quarter to date, month to date. These are the three values. It was given already. And 14th January onwards, you need to compute the year to date, quarter to date, month to date. So 14th January, the year to date orders was this one, and quarter to date is this one, month to date is this one. And this is the on a daily basis, right? Daily, what is the orders each day? What are the, how many number of orders have been placed? So when you look at here, right, when 1st February starts, what happens? These values are reset, right? These values are reset. Look at here. So here I don't have any orders placed. In 27th January, 0 orders placed. If somebody is asking you what is the year to date sales on 27th January or quarter to date or month to date, can you tell me on 27th January? Right? So for this purpose, right, your calendar table should have the date values stored sequentially. If you don't store it sequentially, just because 26th I have and 28th I have the business, and 27th we shut down the business or no business on that day, right? If you don't store this one in your calendar table, what will happen? If somebody is asking you 27th January, what is the year to date or quarter to date, you are gone. That is a working day. Let's say 27th January is a working day. They wants to know why there were no sales, right? So just because you don't have sales on that day, that doesn't mean the quarter to date, month to date values will get reset, right? Still, this is applicable on that day also. Look here, 1383 plus 61, 1444, quarter to date. But in the case of year to date, every year this value, right, the year to date value will get reset. In the case of month to date, every month this value will get reset. Look here, the up to 31st January 1674, right, all these values. But afterwards, what we are doing is, right, next month what we are doing is, in the case of month to date, what we are doing is, right, we are simply considering this value here, right? We are resetting the value for month to date. But year to date and quarter to date still remains same, because January, February, March, every new quarter, this value will get reset. This value will get reset, and every new year this value will get reset. But for every new month, the year to date and quarter date will remain as it is. But quarter date also will get reset for every new quarter. This is a basic thing you should be aware of it. Okay. So this is the calendar. Let's say what is the difference between year to date, calendar year to date, fiscal year to date. Now you understood what is calendar date. Calendar dates are from 1st January to 31st January. Fiscal year to date, FY. This is fiscal year to date. That means starting from April 1st to till date. What is the running total? It's nothing but the running total. For example, for month to date, if you look here, right, so 697 plus 70, 767 plus 36. For this month, every month, right, it calculates the running total. But for each month, the value will get reset for the monthly total. So for this month, new month, whatever the orders we place, fresh orders which we received, that one will be will be copied here. So now we understood the difference between year to date, quarter date, month to date. Next, what we will do is we will proceed with this one. So we'll take some data, and then we will try to find out year to date, month to date, quarter to date, and right, so quarter to date and all will say. And also we have some functions like same period last year. Likewise, different functions are available. We'll see to that. Okay. Anyhow, we have this data imported here. So here it is using some automatic table. What I'm going to do is, as part of this time intelligence, we will learn how to create the calendar table. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create, I'll just go to the modeling, and then we'll create a new table. In this one, we'll see the calendar. So calendar, I just go and say calendar is equivalent to calendar here. I'm going to say 1-01-2011, comma, sorry, here you need to use double quote, okay? (31/12/2014). Done. So this is the start date, minimum date, maximum date. Either you can use the minimum or maximum function. 1 second. Okay, it got created. Calendar. Look here, if you go to the data view, and if you view this is a calendar, right? You can set the format also. and we will do one thing. Let me do one thing. I just go and check sales W04. This is, let me select this one. Okay, this is not a date, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, here we cannot do anything. Better we will transform this now itself. I just go to the home ribbon and transform the data. So here I have my order date is text. See, once you create the calendar date, you need to link, you need to create a relationship between the date in your calendar date and order date or ship date. Okay, so usually we establish a active relationship between the calendar tables date column with this one. Okay, so here what I'm going to, since this is not in the consistent format, I'm going to do something like this. Here I'm going to replace the values. This one and replace with this /. I just, okay, everything got converted, and I'm going to convert this a date data type. Okay. Superb. It got set as a this one, right? Order dot got converted as a date data type. Good. So I'm going to close and apply this. Now we'll get back to the calendar table and we'll try to add additional columns. I just go to calendar column. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new column. You have a year function is available. So here what we will do is we will specify the calendar date. In this first column we'll extract this one, but yes, we are able to extract it here, right? And the similarly I'm going to create other columns to create month and quarter, day, right? I'm going to extract each and every component of the date column. I just go here and see there are different ways of doing it. This is how you can create the custom column. And again you have calendar auto is also available, using which also you can create it. But if you know everything, it will be good. So for example, if they say month number, something like I just use some proper naming convention. Month number is equivalent to, I'm going to use a month function. So calendar date, simply calendar date. I'm going to, so month will get created, extracted. For month, month. For quarter, quarter. So in the interview they will asking you, how did you create the quarter table? Okay, sorry, the calendar table. Next, new column. I'm going to say month prefix, something like that. So here I'm going to use something called format, calendar, date. So I'm just wanted to use some kind of month prefix. This is for in the case of visualization, it will be good, right? If I specify some month name, the 3 letters, it will be helpful. Some cases they'll expect you to display the visuals in this format for month wise report and all. And then so month, year, quarter, and we have something else, day, right? Sorry, you have something called day function, calendar, date. Calendar, date. So this is the one I am going to use, DDD. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, week on week sales. If they want to compare, you need to have this kind of format. And then calendar, date, yeah. So, and I need to know the week date. Supposing yeah, day a week, and or let's see here, the day of week starts from 1 to 1 is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Sunday is 9. Okay, yeah, okay, it's a day of week, right? For this, what is the day of week? Okay, so for that day, this is the first thing, and I'm going to say there's something a weekday, yeah, calendar, this is weekday. This is the one will give you the proper order. Look here, Sunday is 1, Monday is 2, Tuesday. See, when you create a visual, for example, bar plot, the bar plot x-axis, when you plot the month like this, right, it sorts the value in alphabetic order. So, for example, the Monday, after M, the T in the alphabet comes, right? But F comes first, right? So the alphabet, it sorts this value, text value in alphabetic order, okay? Alphabetic order. Instead of doing that, behind the scene, we are generating some weekday value here. So Sunday is first day of the week. Second day of the week is Monday. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and sixth, and Friday is sixth, and seventh day is Saturday. Okay, so that when you, with the help of the weekday, you can specify it in the proper order. So behind the scene, right, you can use it. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, this is the sales bar plot, right? You can plot it that way. The order of your month should be based on the weekday. But now the question is, my week not starts on Sunday. It is starts on Monday. What should I do? Okay, what we will do is, this weekday function returns some value 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. The it right. So 1 second. So here what we will do is we'll use the second thing. Okay, so here I just copy. Here I am going to give 2 here. So it returns a number from 1 to 7 identifying the day of the week of the date. Okay, that is what. Let's see what happens here. Sorry, weekday is already there, and here I just go and change it. Weekday is Monday. I want this. Weekday is Monday. My weekday starts on Monday. By default, the weekday number 1, right, is associated with Sunday. So what we are doing is we are initiating it from second day. So if you look here, Monday is 1 now. Instead of Sunday being 1, Monday is 1 now, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and Saturday is 6, and Sunday is 7. The last day of the week is 7. So with that, we can plot the chart correctly. So for that purpose also we have formatted it. So you have learnt year function, month function, format function. With format, if you specify you will get a month like this. Okay, if you specify 5 m's or 6 m's, January, something like that will come. But for us, 3 letters are sufficient. And quarter function and day function and weekday function we learned, right? And also using weekday, how we can set the Monday as the 1. Okay, 1 value. So now I'm going to apply this one. It's already applied. So now my calendar table is ready. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'll just go and I'll go to the data model. I'll go and see, okay, this is an order date and this is right. I'm going to link these two things together. So if you select this here, you can find out there is a relationship exists between date and order date. Fine. Okay. So now I just go here. Here the date, right? So here I hard coded the value. The interview they'll ask you what is the basis for this one. You can use min order date, max of order date of your which table? Your order day, fact table. In our case, order fact is nothing but sales W04, right? So this order date, you take the minimum value and maximum value of this one, and then you can generate the calendar table with that date, right? So we start, so let's say you started the business by 2011 1st May, right? In that case, you specify 1st May 2011 till date, right? Whatever is there, you can specify it here. But again, till date, we don't know. We are not going to end the business today, right? We cannot hard code it. So instead, in simple term, what you do is here, for example's sake, I put it here. Ideally, I should have tried that one. Min of order date, comma, max of order date. That's all. But make sure that you are, this is what? This is my sales W04, the date column. Sorry, the sales order date, right? Order underscore date. Or else, yeah, I'll put it like this. This is how you are supposed to create this one. Okay, another the simple way of doing is, look here, you just go to the sales W04. Okay, instead of going here, the profile, column profile, right? So transform the data to find out, to get a quick glimpse of what is the minimum and maximum order date. You just go here and you know very well the visual, right? When you select the visual, sorry, view, not the visual, view. So when you select view, you have already, I have enabled already the column profile, right? So one second, let me just select the order date and order date. When you enable column profile, you can find out the minimum order date and maximum order date. This is another way of checking it, because this one give you the summary of, statistical summary of each and every column, right? That's what we discussed. So this is the minimum start date. Right? This is the day when we started our business. You just think that way. Or this is the day when we got our first order. This is the most recent, the recent order date. That is what we can say. But in general, this is not the right way of doing it. But for learning purpose, you can use this approach. If you use a different table, you can use this approach to find out the minimum date and maximum date manually, and you can go and set it. But instead, best thing, you find out if you have the fact table, order date supposed to be the column you are supposed to take into account in order to find out the minimum date and maximum date. Like I said here, right? So minimum of, this is the one you are supposed to use it here. Min of calendar function. This is the one, and here also the sales W04. Sorry, max of sales W04. Max is a function W04, and you need to use order date. That's all. This is how you are supposed to use it. Okay. So this one will give you the correct one. But here, though you don't have any order between so and so date, right? It doesn't matter. It will start from this date to till date. It sequentially generate the dates. Okay. So you don't have to worry about that. So it takes care. That's why we are using minimum as the starting point, maximum is the end point. In between, whatever is there, it automatically generates it. There will not be any gap. Hence, we met the requirements in order to start do the analysis. And also, when you select this one, calendar date, right, on the right side, or you can select it here and mark as date table. You can mark as date, though it is not mandatory. Better you can do it. Mark as date table. We are all set. Next, we will start with the year to date thing. Okay, we'll do some kind of year to date. Here it is asking the date column. I just give the date column as date. Okay, done. We are done with this. The next one is I'm going to create another page. Here what we are going to do is we are going to find out year to date total. Okay, how do we find out? So we have something called YTD function, that is a total YTD and dates YTD. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one. Okay, so this one we have created it as a fresh one, right? I'll just go and see here, and where is the, okay, first of all let us see what is this one here, date, right? Day of week. Okay, or else what I will do is I'll just go and create a hierarchy here. Thanks. So first year supposed to be your, so if you select year, so now you watch, how to create a hierarchy. So I'm going to make this year as part of my newly created hierarchy. So in the hierarchy, date hierarchy, year comes first and then quarter, right? So the next one is quarter. Select quarter, and here add to hierarchy, date hierarchy. And the next one is, okay, if you expand this one, you can see the year, quarter, and the next one is okay, here actually this is not required. What I'm going to do, so I'm going to just right click. But if I remove this, delete date hierarchy level. Are you sure you want to delete date? Okay, delete. Year, quarter, and month. I did not. Ideally, we should have something like month. You have month creator, right? So month number, month prefix. Let me just go here, the calendar. We just go. Yeah. So here I did not see. When you create it manually, you will get to know the pain. Okay. So you should be knowing it very clearly when you select something, right? Yeah, I created a month here. Okay, now I make this one also as part of. Okay, it's all same only. Add to hierarchy, date hierarchy. Yeah, month number is month only. I just created it once again. Okay. Year, quarter, month, we have it. And what I am going to do is I am going to select date hierarchy and I'll just put it here. Instead of this, I will make it as a matrix. Okay, the next one is we will create year to date, sales year to date. We will create a new measure by the name of sales year to date. New measure. Sales year to date is equivalent to, I'm going to use a calculate function. Here sum of sales. Sum of sales, comma, sorry, here actually, so we have two ways of doing it. One is dates. Okay, here what I do is I will use first total YTD. Here something called total YTD. Total YTD. Yes. The next line I'm going to use sum of sales, and the next one is calendar dot this one date. I'm going to simply leave it as it is. Okay, so sorry, next line. Ideally, it should cannot work with values of type string. Oh, okay. This is the problem. So that's what the data cleaning should be done before you do anything. You need to make sure that your data is correctly transformed. So now I just go here. So data type problem here. I just go here, data, transform data. The sales column is a text data type, I guess, because of the dollar value was there along with the number type. See, look here, it's a text data type. Right click and replace values, dollar by blank, and then you need to convert this. Still, though you removed it, see NA is there, and replace NA by 0, and then I just convert this decimal number, and then I will apply this one, home, close and apply. Okay, we are done with this. I just go here. It takes a lot of time to okay. Now you can see the sales year to date value, right? So here it is, we are getting this one, and I just go and drag and drop this one also here, actual sales. So 2023945, this is the sales, right? And year to date, when I expand this, let's do one thing. So the month, right? So instead of using month, what I do is month prefix. Better let me make this one as part of the hierarchy, so that you can find out which month is attached to, related to which one. Date hierarchy. Sorry, not month, month name, right? Month prefix I need it. One second, I just go here and see what is there in the month prefix. Month prefix only I gave it, right? So what is this? Month number. Okay, month prefix was not added. That's the problem. Instead of month number, I just put month prefix. Okay. Yeah, the first one is quarter, right? Year and quarter. When you enable this, so here, since we have hierarchy, here we can see the drill up and drill down options, right? When you enable this one, you can go to the next level. Sales, look here. So this is the year to date sales, right? So you can see this one. Let me do one thing. So we got the sales year to date. This is my sales year to date, and for example 2000. Let me do one thing. I just minimize this one. 3 and 4. For each year, this one should get changed. Let me probably I'll use this one, but if I use this one, it will not show the total. Okay, look here, or else we will just look at like this here. Look here, for this first 2011 quarter 1 to 9, right? So, or okay, this is a year to date, right? Year sales year to date, 1,68,000. It starts from here. Sales 81. Let me do one thing. Sales, I'll put it here. Sales is 81,000 and year to date is February 2001. It shows 168, something like that. Okay, what I will do is, instead of spending time, we'll go to, yeah, this is the one directly. So there you need to include the date. So I'll show you that one here. Maybe because I set it as a date in calendar data model, right? In the data model, I set the calendar as a date thing, right? It is not giving the date thing. So quarter 1, 2 for this one, and 3 it shows, and sales year to date. One second, let us go and check the measure for sales year to date. Or else let me use dates year to date. Instead of this, we'll use that one. So instead of this one, right, I'm going to, actually it should give the date, calendar date. It is not coming up. For this also you need to use, let me do sum of dates YTD. Here I'm going to say calendar. It is not giving me the date thing here. So let me do one thing, explicitly specify it, but it's not considering this one, year and date. Okay, so that part is, so look here, the same thing whatever I did, actually the date should come here. Okay, this one is not coming up here. So look here, the same thing I've done it already. I'll just show you the, everything is same except the sales where to year to date. Let us open this one. I just select this one, and not this one, sales Y today, calendar dot date, right? So this is the one should work, but it is not. So there is a syntax problem here. See, it is not considering because some other problem. Okay, returns a set of date in the year up to current date. Okay, that's the problem. 1 second, let me see the difference between this one and that one. Anyhow, will wrap up in, as soon as this one is over, we'll wrap up. And calendar, right? So year, yeah, so year 1 January. Look here, so that's the problem here. So look here, January, right? Here format, I set it as a date format. Okay. Ideally you need to remove the time from that, okay, from the date thing. That is also one of the important thing you need to remember it. For example, if I select here, you need to make it date data. That's what the prerequisite, right? That is also one of the prerequisites. I think because of which that one is not coming, that option. This is my older one. Here no, still it is not coming here. Okay, the same thing. Okay, I will just check only that year to date part. Okay, why the date is not coming? Dot date is a separate option. Let us just look at this sales weight. Same thing, everything is same. Only thing is this date is not coming there. Okay, so in the calendar date, you need to use this one. That's all. That's the only thing you need to do it. But when I use this one, and if I, one second, if I select it here, okay, here we are seeing, right? So quarter one, so this is the quarter one, and if you look here, you have sales year to date, and sales, this is 2023, and if you look at here for 2012, the sales is 2023, right? But what happens here is the sales value, sales year to date. Look at the sales year to date, and for year 2012, 2023 9444, but year to date and fiscal year to date here 2023 and 530. One second, just let me just close this one, or simply we will, I just go up. This is what called as drill up. Okay, if you do drill up, you don't have to manually do this. 2011, look here, here the year to date is 2023, and 2022 the year to date is reset year, right? So 2372. One second. So for this, the total sale is 2372,530 for this year, right? This is based on the calendar year. Okay, calendar year. For 2022, let us look at here. For all this value put together, this is what the total. The total is displaying on top. Okay, so for this one got reset here. For this one, for this year, year to date is this one, 2012 calendar year. So what do you mean by the year to date for 2012? January 1st 2012 to till the end of the year 2012 calendar year. Okay, so the year to date of 2012 is, this is the value. For year to date value of 2011 is, this is the one. Okay, and also if you look at here 2023, right? So this is see, look here, this is the, for 2011 it ends this value, right? This one it is putting it here. For 2012, this is the value. The quarter 4, the last day of the quarter 4 is, this is the value. This value it is putting it here. You understood? So this is how it is doing it. Here, if you look here, 298. So and 2 plus 420 is almost 3, right? 3 plus 4 is 7.9. So for quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, it is doing the running total for the cumulative total. Okay, so this one will get added, this one and this one. All these things put together, we are getting 2023 9471. Okay, so for year to date, you understood, right? All the quarters running total is nothing but your year to date. We can say that way also. Okay, but in the case of fiscal year, it is different. Look here, the fiscal year to date. I'll just show you the fiscal year sales. the syntax is slightly different. Look here, I have used total YTD. So what you want to submit, sales or unit sold, in my case sales, calendar date and date you need to give. This is the linked column between order date and this one, and here 331. So what is the 331? But this is the one you need to specify. If in case of your fiscal year, sorry, if you want to find out the fiscal sales, right? So you need to specify end of the fiscal year, 331. March 31 is my fiscal year ends, financial year ends, right? And the 1st April, the financial year starts, and March 31, it ends. So you need to specify the financial year end date here. So 331, March 31. Year, month, date format you have to give. Remember this. This is what fiscal sales. And fiscal sales, if you look here, it is slightly different. For this one, 1725 761 fiscal year to date. Okay, and here if you come here, what I will do is I will just, you don't need this much of detail, little bit up. Quarter 1, see, drill up. So this one, if you enable this one, right, if you give this one, it will give the granular detail. Okay, for each year, each quarter, month level, it gives you all the detail. You don't want to see all the things, right? If you click drill up, it goes up one level. Look here, what is the hierarchy here? This is the one. You are in month, see, you are in quarter here, right? 1 second. Yeah, this is the one. You are supposed to look at this one. Year, quarter, month. So if you want to see the month, you just, the month level, you just select this one. But if you want to go one level up, go quarter, you need to select this one. Drill up. Okay, drill up. And this is expand all down. This is your drill down. Okay, so click this part, but you need to enable this one in order to drill down. Okay, so next level in the hierarchy. For example, if I drill up, it will go to year level now. When I go to the next level, what is the next level? Quarter 1. Right? If you want to see the quarter level detail, you can see it here. And again, if you want to in each quarter, month wise, consolidated month wise total, you can say. Or I don't want to see this one, right? You just see this one. Now let us understand fiscal sales year to date. Guys, just give me 2 minutes. I will finish it off. Okay, 5 minutes. I'll finish it off. I just go up to this level, and I'll just show you this one. Okay, this is the one is required. See, in our case, the fiscal year starts from quarter 2, right? The financial year starts from quarter 2, but here it considers this one also. Okay, and 9 plus 4 is how much? Let's say this is approximately 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, right? So this is the one it shows, and 2012, and okay. Now the question is, here the sales year to date is 38,057. Here 32,036 lakhs, right? 32 lakhs 36,000. Why there is a difference between these two? Can someone tell me? If you add, see, for 2014, when will the fiscal year starts? From quarter 2, right? Quarter 2, the fiscal year starts. When will the fiscal year ends for 2014? Type it in the chat window. When will the fiscal year ends for 2014? 2015 March. Am I correct? So the quarter 1 sale is this one, right? If you add this one is this, how much you will get? 38,000. See, so 38 lakhs, and this 36 plus 20, 56, right? 56, almost all put together, 38 lakhs 57. See, you need to, if you add this one with this one, you will get the calendar year to date. But calendar year, it blindly does the running total, right? it blindly does the running total for year wise. Okay, but whereas in the case of fiscal sales year to date, right, it excludes the first quarter. It excludes the first quarter fiscal year. Understood, right? Because you are not supposed to include quarter one in 2014 revenue, or let's say this is a unit sold, right? Unit sold, you are not supposed to include it in 2014 of quarter one. Rather, you need to include next year first quarter. That is what your fiscal year total. You understood, right? This is how you need to understand. And month to date also, if you expand this, you can see it. For January month, this is fiscal month, sales month to date. See, fiscal year, how we enabled, right? Same way you need to specify fiscal sales month to date. Fiscal sales month to date. Okay, so this is here also you need to specify that one. But ideally, what we do is when we create the calendar table, we will create it. We'll create it based on the fiscal year. You have another type. You can create a date calendar or a date table with the fiscal year start date and fiscal year end date. You can do it that way also. Okay, but in our case, okay, let us go by this table itself. But here now you understood, right? Fiscal sales year to date. Okay, ideally we need to specify this one also like this. At this moment, you just think this is my calendar year, calendar month to date, calendar sales month to date. Actually, it's a naming convention problem here. Okay, because I copy pasted, right? So month to date. So here 8670, 86740 plus 81,000. Next month is this one, right? Oh, there is something wrong here also. Okay, this is the running total, and month to date 86740, 817840, 14129, and all these three things put together 1,29,000. The total, showing it here. Okay, all these three things put together, it shows here. That is my quarter to date, right? Sales quarter to date. This is my, what is my first quarter one is this one, and this one, 298, this one, and here it computes 129. Okay, so it computes 129. Here it comes 129, right? 129 only it takes into account. Simply it takes these values, and 8674, 81787, 129, and okay. Can someone tell me why this one is 129? Let me see how many of you can guess it here. Why not 298? How you got 298 here? 2,98,000. How you got 1,29,000 here? Fiscal sales year to date is this one. Okay, so for the time being, you can ignore this one. Okay, we will discuss it a little later, or probably in the next session. Now monthly running total. How do you? This is very much important. Okay, so here 8670 and 81,168, and this one is get added. This is your running total. So you are getting 2,98,183. But here it is doing the month wise running total. And next one is in quarter 2. What is the month wise running total? I think while copy pasting it, I made a mistake here. Or okay, 3,98,000, and here what happens is here April is we have the April sales is 100, and May and April, May, and monthly running total. Monthly is 100, right? So 2,30,000 and 1 lakh. Okay, this is fiscal monthly, right? Or let us go by this, and 100, 2,30,000 should come here. Okay, here what happens is 2,98,000 plus 1 lakh, how much? 3,98,000. Okay, it literally goes by month. Okay, it is the overall. See, 2,98,000 plus 1,04,92, right? So 3,98,000 plus 1 lakh, almost 5,29,000 plus 7 point, right? Almost 719. This is the overall running total. Right? This is the overall running total. But when it comes to 2012, yes, it is 23 plus 23 plus how much? Let me do one thing. Let me go app, drill app. Okay. Okay, 2023 plus 23. Look here. So 4396. This is overall cumulative total. Okay, actually it's not monthly running. Overall cumulative total. Cumulative total. How can I see that? Monthly run. So naming convention problem. Monthly. Sorry for the confusion. This is actually overall cumulative total. So here, sum of sales. If sum of sales is not equal to blank, then compute the sum of sales. This is a measure already we used. This is total sales, and filter all calendar date. So what is the what does this says? What is this condition says? What is this logic? Find out the most recent date. Now you understood, right? Why you need to use minimum, maximum and all. You are not hard coding it here. At any given date, if you want to find out the monthly running total, it will automatically find out the most recent date, and then from the calendar date, right, starting from the first day to till date, less than or equal to, right, starting from first day of your calendar date table to till date, what it does is it finds the sum of sales. Okay, this is the logic is helpful in terms of finding out the cumulative total or running total, cumulative total, all the things are same here. That is what we are doing it here. Okay, sorry guys, thanks for your patience. Okay, what we will do is I will share this file to you also. You can start work on this one, and the next one is in the next session what we will do is I will tell you why the date is not working. That is an action item for me. The next one is, this is another simple one. If you stay here for one more minute, we will finish it off. Okay, this is nothing but my same one second. Here I have used, let me do one thing. I'll just convert the table. Sales previous period. If you want to compare sales previous period, so you have a measure. So this is the measure I used it. You have something called sample same period last year. Same period last year. Calculate the total sales for the same period last year. So that what I can do is I can compare with the current year. Okay, what happens here? I just select this one, not this one. Let me just select this one. See, if you look at my visual, right, year. So year is plotted in the x-axis, and the values sales previous period. So this blue color, right color, and this dark blue is my each year's current sales. Okay, for example 2012, this is the sale, this is the previous year sales previous period, this is the current period. With this you can understand quickly. But here you don't see the previous period. This is the previous period. Here we don't have the previous period. That means we started the business only by 2011. Hence we don't have the previous period. So this one carried forward here, and this one carried forward here, this one carried forward here to do the comparison. Same period last year. You have a function called same period last year. You can use a calculate function to find out the total sales for the same period last year. And when you plot it, you can easily compare it. So we can see an increase in my sales compared to last year, right? Compared to last year. So look here, 2012, right? Compared to last year, 2011, I could see an increase in my sales. Similarly, we can see the increase in my sales, right? So this is how we need to find out. So here there is a confusion, but this is a cumulative total. Hope you understood how to find out the fiscal sales and how to compute the year-to-date sales, right? Quarter to days also same. You have something called total QTD function is available, or you have dates QTD function is available. Look here, with this also I'll show you. See, here I used dates QTD. Okay, calculate sum of sales, and here dates QTD, and you need to specify it. That's all. So what happens is, right, it automatically, when you drag and drop it, it automatically finds the quarter to date. Okay, every quarter the this value will be reset. Okay, every quarter this value will be reset. 2,98,000, and quarter 2 the sale is, look here, 4, look here, 2 plus 1, 3, 3.31, right? And 298, sorry, here 298, 2,98,000, that is what it gives. 86 plus 81, and 81 plus this one is this one, 298, and here it gives me, yeah, 1,04,92 plus 130, 231 plus 180, 421. This is the one is put here. Look here, every year, every quarter, the quarter to date value is reset. Right? It is perfect, and here also it is perfect. Every year this value is reset. In every financial year only this one is getting reset. Okay, this one I will check. I know something wrong here, but this one is the cumulative total. How will you find out the cumulative total? Monthly running total, right? So monthly running total. How will you find out the cumulative total? This is the logic we have used it. Okay, here we are not using total YTD, all things. Okay, we will have to use this one. So what we are doing, we are iterating it, starting from the first date of the current date till the recent date, and then we are computing the sum of sales. We are for this we are computing the sum of sales. Okay, that's all. For each and every quarter, right, based on which it automatically apply the filter, and then it gives us the cumulative total. Okay, that is how you need to compute the cumulative. Okay, thanks for all your patience. Okay, what we will do is we will continue on this Sunday night. Okay, with some more leftover part so far, probably 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then we'll continue with visualization. Next Tuesday we are going to have a test for you all. Okay, so for whatever I covered, I will we will have a test. Okay, and that test can help you to crack the interview. Okay, somehow it will help you to prepare for the interview. Okay, and also assignments, few assignments, and then test will be there. Be prepared. And also if you watch my status about the quizzes whatever I put, try to answer it. Anyhow, you have access to Google everything, right? Even mobile you can do googling and find out the answer. Try to find out the answers and try to understand which one is the correct, or try to figure it out which one is the correct answer and what is the rationale behind that, why option B is correct, why option C is correct. This is the way you can come up to speed. Okay, anyhow, Tuesday we will have a test, and this Sunday night we will continue with the visualization part. All right, and along with this we will see some more the rolling total, right? How to find out rolling year to date, or rolling month sales, right? That also we'll see, that rolling total. We have something called rolling cumulative total, rolling total. That one also we'll have a look at it, and whatever the leftover thing we will see it, and also whatever the action items I will close it. Okay, so today I close the action items average X, where we made a mistake, right? We need to it has to see, it does the row by row computation. After row by row computation is over, only we are supposed to do the average, right? When we tested it, we wrongly tested it. Today I clarified that one. So I have another action item, concatenate X. I will send it to you probably after few minutes to you all. You just take a look at how to use concatenate X, and this is an action item for me. Okay, I will clarify on this one, and also will send this file, PBX file. You can, with this data set, you can start work on it. And one more action is why the date is not coming, right? Dot date is option is not coming. That is the reason why it is not correctly applying the filter. All right. Overall 4 action items. I will try to close it at the earliest. All right. Any questions so far? Okay, since you don't have any question, I think all of you are tired. We will continue on this Sunday night. Okay. Good night. Take care.
Recording stop.
see one iteration. What do you mean?